Hello, I'm Helen Bradley. Welcome to this video tutorial. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can make those little triangle images that you've seen around and how you can do it really easily. In fact, you don't have to draw a triangle to do it. To get started with Triangulator, first of all, you have to go and download it. So you're going to this website, somestuff.ru/I. So you'll just go to that website. It's a quite complex page, and what you're going to look for is this area here, and just below here is the download link. It says you can download sources here. Well, just click on this link to download it and it will download automatically. So I've got it downloading here now. I'm going to click here and show it in the folder because it is now in my downloads folder. So I'm just going to double click it to open it, and I get a chance now to extract all the files. Now this is critical. This is a zip file and you have to extract the files from it. So I'm just going to click to extract them. Now I'm going to leave this in my downloads folder, but you would be better advised to put it somewhere else where you can find it easily, for example on your desktop or in some sort of programs folder. So I'm just going to go ahead and extract these files, and I want to copy these folders without encryptions. Here we have the extracted files in a couple of folders. We've got a Mac OS X folder and the folder for Triangulator. Well, I'm going to double click to open Triangulator, and this is what I've come here for. I want this index.html file. So I'm just going to double click on it and it will open automatically in my browser. Now you have to be using a browser that has API support, and if you don't see this, then your browser doesn't have API support, so you'll need to use a browser that does have API support. I'm using Chrome, it does. So if you want to know what will work and you've got Chrome installed, then just use Chrome. And we've got visible here this index.html file stored on our local computer, and the download is just that. It's a download, so everything's going to run locally from now on, so you can run this at any time. You don't have to download it again. What we do need to do now is to drop the bitmap image into here. Now I've got a few bitmaps on my desktop and I'm just going to drag and drop one of them in here. And this image is a very yellow flower. You can see it here. I'm just going to size it so that you can see it. I've aimed to use an image that has just a sort of single color in it. I just thought that that would be more interesting, but you can choose whatever it is that you want to use. Okay, so we've got our image on the screen now. We've got some options up here. One of them is to export to SVG. Well, we're not ready to do that yet. We've got one that says delete all vertices, and the other is add 25 vertices randomly. So I like to do that to start off with. So I'm just going to click on it, and these are 25 triangles. Now we can move them and we can resize them. So if I just click inside a triangle, I'm going to split it. So I'm going to break it up into lots of smaller ones. And then I can also drag these over, so I can drag to the corners to create triangles and just pin it down. Just clicking to pin it. So I'm clicking and dragging and then just pinning it down. And I'm going to work in here until I've got what I want to work with back in Illustrator. So I would spend some time here. If you want some extra vertices, you can just click randomly again and you can just keep doing it and you'll get more and more. If you want to fine tune the image underneath, then you can work at it by adding more vertices in places where you want to get a bit more interest, a little bit more looking like whatever it is that's underneath here. But if you really just want blocks of color, then it doesn't really matter because you're not really looking for anything that looks in any way, shape or form like the original image. You're just coming here looking for blocks of color. So you can play around in here. If you don't like what you've got and you want to start over, just click delete all vertices and then it'll disappear and you can start over from the beginning. So I'm going to add a few more here just to add a little bit more interest, and I don't really like that area in the middle there, that really dark area, so we might work on that back in Illustrator. So having done this, let's now see how we would save it. Well, we're going to click here, export to SVG, and when I click that, let's just size this up so that we can see what's on the screen here. We get to save this link as a file, so I'm going to click here to save it. And this just comes up in my browser window. Now this is the point at which you might think that you've made a mistake. We've got the image in front of us, but there's no save option. Well, just right click and choose Save As. And then you're prompted to save this as an SVG document. So I'm just going to call this Triangles. And it's an SVG file, and you'll need to put SVG on the end because Illustrator and any other program that you open it in are going to need that extension to understand what it is that they're opening. So just click Save. And once you've done that, you can just close your browser. You don't need this any longer. I'm just going to tuck that out of the way. And let's go back now and let's open that particular image in Illustrator. I'll choose File and then Open. Here's my SVG file, so I'll just click it and click Open. And this is the image inside Illustrator, and you can see that it has opened as a single artboard. And if we open the Layers palette here, we will have a layer for every single one of the triangles in this image. Simple as that. All the hard work of creating these kind of images has been done automatically for us by the program that we had access to through our browser, Triangulator. And we're ready now to just do whatever it is that we want to do with this now that it is inside Illustrator. Now, one of the things that you may want to do is to cut this to size, because I've got a rectangular shape here. Let's just press Ctrl-0 to square it up. And if, for example, I want a square, I'm going to click on the rectangle tool, and I'm just going to click and drag holding the Shift key to create a square. I'm just going to place that right over the middle of this image, and there's my square. So let's have a look at my Layers palette. I've got the square on top and all the triangles underneath. So I'm just going to select this entire layers contents, absolutely everything on this layer. And now I'm going to choose Window and Pathfinder, because there is an option in the Pathfinder that will crop this image to this square shape. And what it needs is the square shape at the very top and everything else that you want to crop underneath that. And they all need to be selected. So with them all selected, I'm just going to click here on the Crop button. And Illustrator crops and removes everything that does not fit within this square. That's cropped permanently, so it's much easier to access these shapes now. They're just triangles inside an Illustrator document. Now, if that's all you want to do, if you've got ideas now about what you want to do with these triangles, then that's it for the video. But if you want to see how you could recolor this, stick around. I'm going to select over all of these shapes here, and I'm going to the swatches panel here. I'm going to click on this new color group, because what I want to do is to create a color group from this triangular artwork. So I'm just going to click OK, and these are all the colors in that piece of artwork. With it still selected, I'm going to click here on the Edit or Apply Color Group option, and this allows me to now recolor this object, and I'm going to click on Assign. And these are all the colors in this piece of artwork, and everything's locked. So if I drag one, everything's going to drag around. And so I can recolor this piece of artwork by just dragging to find something that is of interest to me. If there are dark colors here, and you can see this is a dark color, then I can just wind up the brightness on it. So I could go in and select these dark colors and just brighten them up. But it's also possible for me to do that in a minute outside this dialog. So I'm first of all just going to find a really good place for this to be. So I'm thinking let's go and get the sort of bluey greens. I'm just going to brighten up this panel a bit. So I'm thinking that's pretty okay. So I'm going to click to create this as a new color group. So this is my new color group. I've still got the original one. I'll click OK. And now I can come in here and individually isolate any of these shapes if I want to recolor them. I'll need to ungroup it first, or I'll need to drill down using isolation mode. So with isolation mode, I'll just keep clicking on this shape until it is the one selected. You can see this is its current color. Well, we can make it a dark blue, but not quite so dark. We could come in here. There's 3 in here, and we could change those as well. So you've basically got an image which is a series of triangles. All the hard work is done for you using Triangulator, and once you've got it inside Illustrator, you can do with it anything that you would do typically with an Illustrator document. The only thing you'll want to be careful of is when you save it, you save it as an AI document. We'll do File, Save As, and we'll make sure that we're going to call it an AI image. So I'm just going to save it. And so you want to be able to save this as an Illustrator document so that you can do things later on with it again back in Illustrator. So there's how to use Triangulator to create these wonderful little triangle graphics in a format that is accessible and easy to open and use in Illustrator. I'm Helen Bradley. Thank you for joining me for this video tutorial. Look out for more video tutorials here on my YouTube channel, and consider subscribing to my channel and you'll be alerted when new videos are released. And visit my website at projectwoman.com, where you'll find more tips, tricks and tutorials on a range of applications including Photoshop, Lightroom, Illustrator and a whole lot more.